Hello! One thing I want to make clear is that these are just my first impressions, and my opinion on the episode might change, or I might notice things that I didn't notice before. This is just me, right after watching it, first impressions, just as a big fan of the show. So I just got done watching the new Happy Tree Friends collab episode, which is called Happy Train Friends. It's not really the normal naming convention that the episodes go with, but hey, I like the name, it works. When they first announced this, I wasn't entirely sure what to expect, because I'm not really that familiar with Dumbways. It's just not something I know much about. I watched the original video when it was new and incredibly popular, and I haven't really interacted with anything they've done since. From what I knew about the series, it seemed like it made sense for a collab. If there was any other web show that they would collab with, this one makes sense considering it is still running. I think the first thing I should probably talk about, and the most notable thing, is the animation. The visuals of this episode are very, very similar to Too Much Scream Time, but this one, even more so than Too Much Scream Time, is based off of Ken Navarro's storyboards and his general way of drawing the characters. It's very similar to that. And the animation and the character designs, I know not everyone loves this new, really big-eyed look for the characters, and I get that, but I really like it. I think it looks really good. It's super clean, super fluid, and the animation is what really sells it. It is probably the smoothest animation we've had in the series since, like, Season 2. And that was 20 years ago. The TV series has a lot of moments of being very, very smooth, and those are great, but because the episodes are so long, they had to save money somewhere, so they couldn't make everything look amazing all the time. They had to divvy up the budget, and I think they did so very well. But this is very similar to Season 2. It has a good budget, and it's pretty short, so they can use that budget effectively to make really good animation. There are smear frames. Happy Tree Friends doesn't really do smear frames. It's a thing that has been in episodes, but it's not common. They are very noticeable here, and I think it adds a lot to the animation, feeling a lot more fluid, and it's great. The voice acting is very clearly reused from previous episodes, which makes sense. I don't think they want to get all these voice actors just for something like this. They have so many voice clips at this point. I don't even think it's really necessary to record new ones. It'd be nice to have new ones, but I personally wouldn't count on it. And one thing I found interesting is that Flaky is in this episode, but Flaky's voice is used for one of the Dumbways characters. I don't know their name. They used Flaky's voice for one of them, and that's really weird. Did they not have screams for the Dumbways characters? I don't know if they talk. Again, I don't know anything about Dumbways. I don't know. Editor's note: I didn't know these characters' names before, but I have looked them up since. The pink one is Stumble, and the purple one is Putz. I know their names now, I just didn't when I first recorded this. However, the pink character has a unique voice, it seems, but then right after they have original lines, they use voice clips from Sniffles, which is, again, super weird. You're combining voice clips. That's really weird. It's not bad, the voice clips work, but that's a nitpick. It's really not a big deal, and again, the animation and the presentation of this is great. I love the backgrounds. They are super well colored. I just like how this episode looks overall. It's a really good mesh of the two art styles. It feels natural, and that's what a crossover should be. Overall, I do think the collab aspect was very well done, especially compared to Too Much Scream Time, where it felt kind of weird because it was the characters directly interacting with a product, and that feels really weird. It doesn't feel natural. And this collab did feel very natural. It felt like these two series just happened to coexist, and I think that's the best way that a crossover can happen. Especially with these two shows, I think the collab just makes more sense. So in the crossover aspect, I do think this episode does it better than Too Much Scream Time. I will say that the gore is not at its best here. The Dumbways characters have pink blood, and then the Happy Tree Friends characters have red blood, and that kind of looks weird side by side. Not a big deal again, but is interesting. I saw Truffles on my first spotting. Oh yeah, that was also a thing. Truffles is in this episode, he's there. Overall, this is a very pretty episode, and I think that's good, because Happy Tree Friends has always been a very pretty show at its best. If there's one thing that I really like about Happy Tree Friends that isn't present here is the original music. The music in this episode is completely reused. It is just from, I believe, Concrete Solution and Don't Yank My Chain. I could be wrong, though. I think those are the two episodes they took from. And Happy Tree Friends music is great, but a lot of why it's great is because it's synced to the action. and because they're reusing music, it's not really synced to the action. I guess they just couldn't get Jerome Rossen to come back to do new music, which is probably just a budget thing, because he's still around, he's doing music still. That's more of a problem to me than it would be for most people. I think most people don't even notice it. As for reusing things, I will say, I liked the gore, but it isn't the most creative. Like, Lumpy got run over by a train, but Lifty and Shifty suffered the exact same fate in a previous episode. So it's not that creative here because it's just the same thing that we've already seen, so that's a bit weird. Also, this scene that I'm showing on screen right now is very similar to Junk in the Trunk. Like, it's very similar. It's a little less intense, but it's very similar in concept. I liked the ending, that was cute. I liked when Nutty hugged the purple guy, that was cute. And like, overall, this episode was cute. It was fun. I think it bodes well if Happy Tree Friends comes back in full force and can have longer episodes. Because I think, like, the biggest quote-unquote issue of this episode is that it's simply too short. And I know Happy Tree Friends has always been short, that's a very common thing, but I don't know, I feel like this episode goes a mile a minute. It's super fast, and I feel like it could have been much more had they given it like a minute or two more to breathe, which I think, I understand, is very hard to do. Animation is very hard, and this animation is very expressive. It is still a little bit of a shame, though. I just hope that if Happy Tree Friends does come back, I would rather wait longer for an episode that is much longer. Because I personally think that the TV series is the best era of the series simply because it is the longest era. Each episode is 7 minutes, and that is plenty. This falls into the category of a lot of post-TV episodes where you can tell they wanted this to be 7 minutes, but they didn't have the budget to do so. And that's a little bit of a shame, but I want to make this clear, I still liked this episode, I think it's fun. So overall, yeah, I liked this episode. It's not some incredible new masterpiece or anything, but it's a cute, fun collaboration, and it bodes well. I think if they continue this, Happy Tree Friends can really come back. But there is something else I wanted to say, because there is a common misconception among fans of Happy Tree Friends, especially related to Dumb Ways, in that I've heard multiple people say, "Wow, I can't believe they're collabing with Happy Tree Friends again," implying that they collabed for a first time, and I want to set the record straight about this. Okay, so there is this company or person? I think it's just one guy, but it might be a company? I have really no idea. This is what I'm talking about when I say this stuff is vague. I really don't know. But there is this entity called Cartoon Star, and they made a lot of Happy Tree Friends stuff that is and also isn't official. Like, they've been approved by Mondo, but not fully endorsed, but also some of the stuff that Mondo put out was originally put out by Cartoon Star, then Mondo revised. It's a very strange history, but what's relevant here is Cartoon Star made a Happy Tree Friends Dumb Ways to Die video, based on the original Dumb Ways to Die video, and then Dumb Ways to Die made a mobile game that's like a WarioWare clone, and then Cartoon Star took their Happy Tree Friends video based on Dumb Ways to Die, and then made their own WarioWare clone on mobile based off of the Dumb Ways to Die mobile game. It's confusing, but a lot of people think that this video and game is official. They are not. They are entirely made of reused assets, sometimes from different eras of the show. Like, you have some characters in post-TV style, and then some in the pre-TV style. Like, Lammy is in the Season 2 style, even though Lammy never appeared in Season 2. I believe Cartoon Star is Dutch. I might be wrong, but I know that Cartoon Star is European. English might not be their first language, meaning that you get really weird phrases like cream the figure. One thing to note is that this game was on official app stores for phones, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's official. There are so many bootleg mobile games of so many franchises, why would Happy Tree Friends be an exception? I just want people to know that some of what Cartoon Star makes is official, but make sure to look into it before saying that it is official, because it's kind of hard to say. So yeah, I think that's all I had to say about the episode. I'd like to hear what you guys think of the episode in the comments. I've heard varying opinions from different people, and it's only been like 10 minutes since the episode aired. I am making other videos. They are on the way. In fact, I actually have several videos in the works. I won't say what all of them are right now, but I have a bunch of ideas. A few scripts are either finished or in the works. I have one video that's in editing right now. It might take a while, but just be patient. It'll come out, and I thank you all for being so patient. And yeah, that's all I had to say, so yeah, see you next time.